Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are going to continue we're not going to continue where we left off like last time. We are going to do another Poseidon-related movie called The Poseidon Adventure that was released in 2005. Not to be confused with the old one from 1970.
72? Yeah, 1972 was the original theatrical release. This is a telly movie, which was actually not too bad and had a good cast to support the production. So,
yes.
So I'll go through my usual sort of thingy-wingies.
Yeah, just so you guys know, guys, this was done by the Hallmark production company.
Yeah,
the guys who would often do greeting cards and other TV, movie related
good
stuff.
Movies. They did some Sherlock Holmes stuff and other good groovy things.
They did.
They do, and romance ones. They do a lot of good groovy things. Yeah.
And of course, this one I think was distributed by Disney I think.
No, all it says is network, NBC. Yeah, doesn't say anything.
We're sure that where's the distributors?
It was put for TV.
Oh.
Distributed by NBC. Yeah.
Anyway,
National Broadcasting Company.
that's what I've heard anyway. So
it may well have, but there's no mention of it.
So anyway, let's move on, guys. There's a very big, interesting casting stuff.
Is that my bit?
Go on.
She takes my bit away, and I've got nothing to do. Okay, right. I don't know who produced it. It was obviously a production. It's down the bottom. Production, Mary Church. I know that name. She's done other things before, too, I think. Right. Anyway, directed by John Putch, P-U-T-C-H. Right. Obviously based on the original book by Paul Gallico. Actually, funny, the captain's name this ship, this remake, is called Captain Gallico. Aha! Oh, there you go then.
It's been interesting that they're using some references from some of the material from here and there.
Screenplay was by Bryce Zabel. Now, I'll go for a couple of the actors. Now, I can't tell you anything about budget and everything and box office because there's no figures for the budget and there's no box office because it was made for telly. So. Okay, I won't go too much. There's about a dozen people here, but I'll go through the main ones. Adam Baldwin plays Sea Marshal Mike Rogo. Yeah. Actually, in the first movie, there's a police. Was he retired police?
Well, he said he was a police officer or whatever.
Rogo, and that was played by Ernest Borgnine. So they kept the same name, so it might have been in the book. Don't know. Rutger Hauer plays Bishop August Smith.
I always like him a lot. I like the fact he can play bad guys. He can play good guys. Yeah. And, well, that's the thing about movies with actors who they look like both. Because
and they can act like both. Anyway, can I just go on? Steve Guttenberg as Richard Clark. Now, I know him from Police Academy, High Spirits. Was it High Spirits?
Yes.
Yeah. What else was he in? Lots of other good groovy things.
Lots of good stuff.
Yeah, lots of
But I do remember him the most in Police Academy and High Spirits.
Please. Now, here we go. Brian Brown, one of my heroes, Australian fellow. Okay, he plays Jeffrey Anderson.
G'day, mate.
I think he's an actor or something rather. Yeah, he keeps going on a bit about that sort of crap.
Yeah, his accent in it is very Australian.
But he is Australian. That's the way he talks.
I know, but like over the top Australian.
No, that's the way he talks. Yeah. In every movie, he talks like Brian Brown. Alexa Hamilton plays Rachel Clark, which I believe is Steve Guttenberg's wife, as Richard Clark's wife. Yeah. Tanari Van Wicklutz plays Amy Anderson. That's a mouthful. That seems like he's a nice little foreign lady that is married to Brian Brown's character, Jeffrey.
And she's a singer.
She's a singer, and whatever. And they're going to have they want to
have children.
They want to have children stuff. Yeah, really nice stuff. Okay, Dr. C. C. Thomas Howell plays Dr. Matthew Ballard. They always go throw a doctor in there occasionally.
Sometimes it helps.
I won't go through the rest of the people there because it just... it's
mostly counterthought sometimes.
Yeah.
You're going to get as the
they're the main ones anyway. So I think they're the main ones that form our main people who are going through the ship trying to get out.
Yeah, there's also the same. They sort of go through the same channels in this one, obviously, except for in this one the plot is different, where it deals with. Will you mind? I'm trying to say something that's relevant to the story. In this one, it deals with instead of a tsunami or a big wave, it deals with terrorists who try to take over the boat
and blow it up. Well, not take it, blow it up.
Well, try to blow it up.
No, actually, I will mention a couple of other people here because there's a reason for it. A girl called Amber Sainsbury plays Shelby Clark, which is Steve Gutenberg's daughter. A lady, an older lady called Sylvia Sims plays Belle Rosen, and she does a similar part that Shelley Winters did in the first movie. Nice lady, a good performance, and I think the last one I'll mention here is Nathalie Bolt, who plays Shoshana, which is a lady that Steve Gutenberg has a love interest with on the boat.
Yeah.
She's a very attractive lady and a good actress. So,
and a young little boy named Dylan, but I don't know his real name.
Yeah.
I know he's the...
Rory Coppice plays Dylan Clark. Yeah.
He's sort of...
But coaches a little boy with movie camera.
Yeah, who has a great interest in becoming a filmmaker.
Yeah, one of Steven Spielberg and George Lucas started this way on a sinking boat. Eh?
Well, considering they didn't I don't think they would have had camcorders back when they're in their day. Unless...
Might have had a Super 8 or something, rather, or a wind-up little black and white camera.
But bear in mind, the old vintage 6 to 8, I mean Super 8s back in the day didn't have any audio attached to them. So most of the time you have to rely on just your video.
Well, I miss the silent movies. Anyway, can't think of anything else to say. No money thingies.
I think it was probably years later when they made cameras with audio.
Somewhere in the 60s, 70s, around there, I think they started coming out, but they were expensive and they got cheaper.
Very expensive.
No, they were, and then they made the cheaper ones, because I had one. My brother had one of the ones with none. He got his earlier.
I almost wish when I was younger that I would have had kind of discovered filmmaking or the love of filmmaking back at that early age, but I didn't really have any interest in filmmaking, as I pointed out to you guys more than once, because it was, well, I didn't see a future in it until years later. Obviously, if I did back then, maybe I would be started mounting filming films long before I started taking an interest in making it into a serious career.
So you want to tell a story now?
Yes, sure. So the story begins where no, it doesn't take place on a boat, not as yet. In this one, it takes place in somewhere in the Middle East.
It's actually in Cape Town.
Cape Town. And here, a bunch of terrorists are discussing a plan of detonating bombs on a yacht, a big ship. They've been planning it, and they even have their best bomber or terrorists to go in and do this. And of course, they get the agents appear. They gun them down, but the information that was on their boards and stuff has been stripped away, making it a little bit difficult for them to probably nail down what boat they're going to be bombing, of course. And they killed all the people who were there, obviously, which was even more stupid when you think about it. Anyway, the guy who's doing the bombing, he manages to elude the police and get away, obviously. And we also see him later talking to some accomplices who happen to be showing him the bombs, which is like an alcohol keg. You know those aluminium
kegs they use for booze nowadays? Mm-hmm. Yeah, instead of the old wooden kegs. Yeah.
Now, we move on to the boat.
The boat.
Where
it's
loading up passengers. Here we meet, Richard Clark with his wife, Rachel, and his 2 children.
Haggle and Juggle.
Yes. And his wife is, it seems to be more of a working job for her on board.
This is supposed to be a family holiday. And she's a businesswoman who's rather successful, and she invites 2 of her friends to come along on the same cruise so she can do business while she's supposed to be on the cruise with a family.
Yeah.
Not a very nice thing to do. No.
Yeah, anyway, during all this time, let me see. Richard, he starts having an affair with the lady who does the massages.
Actually, I think he was having an affair before we got on the boat. I think he knew her.
I don't know, maybe. Because she was talking to him and she was asking him sort of questions indicating that this might be her first time meeting him. No, it sounds like that this was the first time she met him and stuff. It doesn't sound like because if she knew him, Mike, she wouldn't be asking all those questions about his marriage.
Yeah. Well, I could go and have an affair now and not tell anybody about my marriage.
Well, she asked him about, you must be so wealthy to be getting such a nice, thing. She would have, if they were having an affair, she would know his occupation and possibly his job status.
True, yeah.
And also a bit about, he then goes on to explain that his wife had developed a special franchise, clothing franchise.
And make lots of money.
And made lots of money. While he is a writer, I'm not sure a successful writer. We do see him writing on a laptop, but it's hard to say at this point. Anyway, he then starts an affair with her, obviously, and his son witnesses half of what was
he
taught.
sees him going into the cabin. He doesn't actually see anything.
No.
This is a general exhibition movie.
This is a 12-year-old we're talking about.
This is a general exhibition movie too, I think.
Anyway, there we also meet Jeff and his beloved wife, Amy, or is it?
I think so, Amy.
And she's a singer, and he's a famous filmmaker in Australia, I think. And
or wherever. Whatever. Yeah.
And of course, Dylan admires him and even starts filming in the kitchens and different parts of the ship. And
this is a toilet. Whoopee.
Yeah, and of course, an agent, a detective, is on board because he's the one who's assigned to the boat to try and track down the bombers and maybe find the bombs if they're on the boat.
Well, he was assigned to the ship to search for any suspicious activity.
Yeah.
Not that they knew there was any, but they thought there might be. So he had no leads to go on.
They probably used teeny bits of clips of information they found on the boards at the enemy's headquarters and piece it together which boat might be released on the day.
They try to burn all the evidence, so they only had little bits of newspaper clippings and photographs.
So they only had a little bit of guesswork, which could mean they may have to look at the date and time of when the release of the boat was going to be done, and maybe Poseidon was the only boat in the vicinity that was going to be launched at the time.
There could have been other guys on other boats.
Yeah.
But this is the one that was going to be the
most
centre
biggest
of the movie.
and the most wealthiest.
Yes.
Kill
all the rich guys.
He goes to the captain, who is he's named after the author from
Mr. Captain Gallico.
And he tells them that the crew know of his existence. Even one of the stupid crew members blabbed
and let the secret out, saying he was
inappropriately.
He was, needless to say, he wasn't happy.
Yeah. We also see the bombers kind of getting their kegs on board, and we don't see them kill some of the crew members. We only
but we see him taking stuff on.
That's done off screen
and hanging around and watching the crew. Mm-hmm. But they weren't dressed as crew at the time, and next time you see them, they're dressed in their work clothes as crew.
Yeah. Two of them are dressed as waiters, and one is dressed as a sous chef or chef. I'm not sure.
That baldy guy was cutting stuff up. Yeah, he's a sous chef.
So I can't really be sure at this point.
Other people waiters, maybe. That sounds about right.
So the detective, or sea marshal, as he's put in this one, he's trying to he actually goes and tells the captain that the guy blabbed, and they need to find out who might be on board. And of course, they do find some dead bodies. Or Dylan, the young Dylan Clark, he discovers one of the bodies. That's face is undescribable.
Yeah, the face has been mutilated, so you can't identify the person.
Yeah, meaning, and he eventually showed the videotape footage, and his mother saw the videotape footage and knew about the affair, and she is deeply upset with her husband and demands he leaves their cabin, go off and find your love interest, blah blah blah. That's what she's like. Anyway, but this upsets their son. But
Boo-hoo.
If you didn't show your mum, then what else were you going to do?
Well, there's Dad and there's the dead man. And she's more interested in Dad going into the ladies' room.
Not the ladies' room like the toilets, I mean.
Well, not the ladies' room, the ladies' room. Yeah.
Anyway, he decides to spend New Year, which this does take place during the New Year, I should mention.
Well, his wife didn't want him at the table, so he stayed in. He stayed in the ladies' cabin doing what males and females do quite naturally.
Yeah. So, of course, Rachel and her son, they decide to celebrate the New Year with their daughter, and as they begin the celebration, stuff like that, we then see the one of the bombers killed more of the crew members, like the ones that were on the bridge. If I know my ship
that's the officers and the captain and everybody up on the bridge there.
The captain is inside the dining hall, the dance hall, whatever, but he gets killed by our main bomber guy who shoots him in the back when things start going pear-shaped.
I'm going to go see what's going on here, and he got a bullet straight in the back.
Yeah, ouch.
Out the front too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a high-power bullet. Dirty Harry would have been really happy. Man.
Of course, that bomber that killed the staff, he shoots himself in the head and dies because
his job is done.
The other one sets off one of the bombs that's on the side of the boat and blows up. And this has caused the boat to rotate and start moving in the opposite direction. It's taking water on
one side, so obviously it's getting heavier on one side, and it throws its weight distribution out, and it starts to lean over to which left-hand side was it? Whatever.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to where it was going.
And it starts to roll over.
Yeah. So it rolls, and people start. The chairs, tables, people all begin to move against the boat. And
dancing on the ceiling.
And soon enough, they're on the ceiling, and the floor is on. It's become the ceiling now.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Anyway, so there's also similar things that happen in this scene, just like the other two movies we just previously reviewed.
Same.
Where let me see, Rachel's daughter and a dancer, I think it was, were attached to one of those tables that are glued to the ceiling, glued to the wall,
bolted to the floor, but they couldn't. So they got stuck on the table because they were under it when everything was going on. They hung onto the table, and like idiots, they were stuck up on the table.
Yeah, they quickly.
There's always somebody on a table up on the ceiling.
Yeah, they then, like clockwork, develop a sort of a makeshift trampoline.
Not trampoline. What do you call it? Safety net thing.
Safety net. Yeah. And the men pull at it to make sure it's tight, so it won't hit the floor. The bodies won't hit the floor and close.
Oh, missed.
And they managed to get down easily. Of course, what's the name of the daughter's name again? I keep forgetting her name. Shelby.
Yeah.
Shelby also develops a crush on the ship's doctor, who's really good looking. Well, good looking enough, in my opinion.
He's not too bad.
He's
a doctor, and she's studying to be a nurse.
Yes, she is. Yeah. She helps set his bones because his bone is kind of cut.
Yeah, he broke his arm. She had to reset it, so she had to pull it and do something and reposition it and do whatever.
He then remarks that she should be a doctor, or at least
instead of a nurse.
Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe that will come up later on. Well. Anyway, of course, now they're trapped there, and the guy who. The terrorist, he's been taken into custody by our detective, Marshall guy. Of course, the other guy, one of the sailor guys, who's a total dick, trust me, he is a dick.
Yeah, you'd hate him too. Yeah.
Yes. He goes on about, I'm in charge here. I tell you guys, stay here in this.
Do as I tell you to do. Yeah, one of those sort of guys.
He is the biggest bag of wind I ever did see.
He does get a punch in the nose later, which is very nice.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so some of the people want to leave, obviously. Of course, I should mention that Richard and his love interest are in her room, and of course they're on the opposite side of the ship.
When the boat rolled over, they're still in her cabin, so they had to make their way to the ballroom.
Yes.
Through wherever.
Difficulties.
Yeah. With difficulties through an upside down ship which got stuff all over the place. So they gradually made their way to the ballroom. Yes.
Yeah. Of course, our priest, what's his name?
Priest Smith, Bishop Smith.
Yeah, Bishop August, that's his name.
August Smith.
Yeah, August Smith.
August is his middle name.
Yeah, anyway, he calms the people down, and he then notices the Christmas tree that's on the ceiling, on the floor now on the ceiling,
Floor, yeah.
and he remarks that God has granted them a way to get out, meaning God works in mysterious ways, in my opinion. Also, Jeff, the filmmaker guy, tells Dylan to film everything because
he'll make a good documentary.
He'll make a good documentary, and he thinks there's a Pulitzer surprise or the Oscar waiting in the future if this works.
Or an Oscar
really
Mayer
well.
winner or something or other. Yeah.
Or an Oscar, who knows what will you get for documentaries.
Whatever.
Anyway, and the boy says, okay, what do I get out of this? And he says, I'll give you 50% of whatever.
It wasn't 10%,
10% of whatever is earned from it. And he says he agrees to it.
You've got to take out overheads and stuff and marketing and management fees. And, 10%'s not too bad for a kid.
Yeah, the boy manages to have extra batteries and an extra tape just as a precaution.
It went on for hours. I mean, I wish I had a camera like that. I got my Black Magic cameras out. I only get 20 minutes out of a battery.
Yeah. Although I do think it would be so cool, maybe in the near future they might make a Poseidon Adventure movie where it's all done with found footage. Even though that's been done before, done to death, but it would be cool.
Well, it would be nice. Move along.
Anyway, so they make a point of using the Christmas tree as a ladder. In this one, it's a little bit more of a practical type tree because in this one, it looks easy to climb up. Unlike in the other one, it looked like you may have
Christmas tree.
Yeah. Anyway, it's made of metal, so it's strong.
Oh yeah.
Also, the two staff members are, on the top level, so they were able to get them to help them get across. And even Dylan says it's just like climbing the, those rocky walls.
Yeah, rock walls. Now, about this time in the movie, it does do a cutaway to the Coast Guard or naval people, whatever. Yeah. The ones who do the monitor boats and stuff. And they said, we've lost contact with this boat.
Yeah, because they kind of turned the terrorist guys. They turned off all communications.
Yeah, turned off all the stuff on the bridge before they did anything, and so all the communications, motors, everything went.
Yeah.
And they lost contact with them, and they said, okay, and they're starting to worry about the boat. Yes,
they kind of contact the Navy and any Army-related stuff, here and there, and to make sure that they're in a dangerous situation, stuff like that. Anyway, so later on, they begin to make their ascend upstairs or up.
Downstairs, upstairs.
Downstairs, upstairs. Never mind.
Whatever.
And, of course, the guy who's supposedly not in charge, but is in charge, tells them that you're going to die. But the priest says, at least we'll die trying.
Exactly. He was a smart bishop.
He is. I mean, both the priest guys in the Poseidon Adventure do have something to tell you. You can't just sit around waiting for death. You have to go out and try to find a way out. And even if it means dying on the attempt, but at least you
do
live.
Something. Actually, it's not saying God helps those who help themselves. You can't just sit down there and wait for it and say, okay, do something. Ain't going to happen. Get off your bums and do something.
Yeah, thanks to the bishop's words, the older lady, the fat lady, decides to go with them. At first she said, no, I'm going to stay with these guys. She decides to come along, and because she believes that her husband would definitely agree with their statements.
He would be encouraging her, yes.
Yes, telling her, go ahead, do this, don't be afraid.
Yes,
so
exactly.
She agrees.
And she trusted the bishop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Shelby, Rachel's daughter, decides to stay behind because she wants to stay to help the sick people,
the hurt people. Yeah.
And I know what you guys are thinking. Is this where the flood starts? Water comes in? No, it takes a little
a bit longer. It's a two-parter,
Yeah, it's a two-parter mini-series movies, or whatever they call it.
We're about halfway through now, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. They then make their way up through the thing, and they make their way down the hallway with the staff and tow. They begin to look at the maps along the way too.
Yeah.
And
it's a very good of them, but they got these nice, convenient maps on the walls and everything. Very handy.
Yeah. Shelby tells her mother to take a marker or a pen and write the directions on the wall. I kept saying to Mike when we were watching this, what if the entrances and the doorways, they get flooded with so much water? What then? Yes.
Crikey.
Is right. I mean, there's that possibility. If the water's flooding in, and no matter how much time you're walking down the corridors or thingy wings, and there's a chance that you might get the wrong doorway.
It's like the Towering Inferno when the fire first started. Right at the beginning of the movie. Yeah, or not right. Yeah, when it first started, everyone could have just got downstairs before the fire took hold.
I agree.
But when it gets too far into it, the fire's taken hold. Same as the water. You can't stop it. You can't get around it. The room's full for about several decks. You can't get out, so you're going to die.
It's just like when you go to a concert. Like you say, you'll probably come a little early, but then when you arrive there right on time. Everyone else is there early before you.
So I always go an hour or so early, get there. So the car's parked, I go and have a cup of coffee.
Anyway, they make their way. Rachel is writing down the hallways, the corridors they go through. All the times, their feet gets into those. Well, it's on the ceiling. They're on the ceiling, so technically the walls.
Yeah, they got perspex. They cut light covers and diffusers and stuff. So that's a bit awkward walking on those.
Yeah, it is awkward and painful and weird.
Well, and cut your feet a bit if you're not wearing shoes, which happens to what's his name, Buggerlugs. Steve Gutenberg, Richard.
Yeah.
He gets cut feet on the. Yeah,
he does.
On the ceiling.
They then encounter when they run into a lady who was wondering if her husband's okay, and we find out he's dead.
And she was on the way out too.
Yeah, and she says she just wants to know if he's okay, and then she slowly dies. And which I think Richard starts realizing the importance of being with the one you love.
And he really does love his wife.
Yeah, he's starting to realize that, and he then gets these shoes because he kind of goes barefoot, like
he has
Bruce Willis barefoot.
But the lady he's with, she took the shoes off the dead guy and said, "Here's some shoes for you."
Yeah, he feels kind of guilty about that.
Well, the guy wasn't using them.
That's true. True. Anyway, when they get to the main hallway, it's before they get to the main hallway, it gets blocked by lots of water, like lots and lots of water.
But
anyway, they eventually get through an air vent and were able to get to the dining hall, obviously. And there they meet some of the survivors. Of course, there Shelby and her boyfriend, who's the doctor. They already patched up as much of the people as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
But they can't do anything more because at this point they cannot carry them out, and there's no doubt that they will probably perish.
We will send help if we can.
Yeah. Of course, the guy who's in charge, he also steals pills from the doctor's pharmacy and ends up eating them here and there.
The chubby guy who's
a bag of wind.
had a drug habit, taking painkillers.
Yeah, he ended up taking the doctor's painkillers, which he needed for his arm injury.
No, he's just taking the doctor's painkillers. He took them out of the infirmary.
Yeah, he did.
And the doctor actually needed them, but the infirmary might have been underwater by now.
Yeah.
But the doctor needed, because he had a broken arm, was trying to service the people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right,
it's difficult.
Aha.
But luckily enough.
Anyway, carry on.
So they make their way up to there, but the other people, the other passengers, they still don't. Even while the guy continues telling them, "Don't go up there. Don't be an idiot, because these people that just previously went down the corridor are dead." How would you know?
How would you know? Considering they're going up. Mm-hmm. Not down, up.
Yeah. Speaking
away from the water.
Yeah, they make their way really well, and they eventually, along the way, a few of them do get killed. Two of the sailors, they got killed. Like, one got crushed by a flaming thingy. I don't know.
The thing that was bolted to the floor, which is now the ceiling, came loose when he was the last one going through the kitchen area, and it came loose, went splat, so he was out of it.
Yeah,
he picked him up for blotting paper.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the other service guy, maybe, but the other one fell down the
funnel?
The funnel thing.
Yeah.
He this whole entire water kind of comes out.
He got blown off the wall and the water came through.
As he was helping the fat nice lady, obviously.
Yeah, she was okay, but he got blown. Yeah, that would have been air conditioning exhaust area. Yeah, but the water came through there, blew him off just like a fireman's hose, and he was like, well, mosquito on a windscreen. There you go.
He was very knowledgeable, in fact.
Yeah.
Anyway. They continue on. There was even a moment when they were waiting in the hallway and they were talking about nice things, and Jeff remarked that him and his wife, they hope to have a child someday. Well, they want to anyway. Yeah. Even though he's on the old side, but even young people can get married, have children.
Well, she was younger. She was significantly younger than him. Not a teenager necessarily, but she was a lot younger than him. He had you must admit, Brian Brown is, he's no youngster.
Anyway, I kept thinking about who's going to go next. I know it could be either the fat lady or one of the other people, because it's kind of going in the order the way it was done in both movies. You know, the staff members gets killed first because they're cannon fodder, and either one of the other ladies might get killed. I thought for a while it would be Jeff's wife, because in the other one, the first one, the policeman's wife was taken off.
You missed a bit. The group of people who were trying to find their way through. Shelby's mother, whatever her name is, Rachel. She got a message out through a computer they found up
they did do that. I forgot that part.
In some area of the
in the computer lab or whatever.
They had something in there, and she got in there, and she got into a computer, and she said, "I'll send a broadcast out." How many people? About 500.
Yeah, she was doing her Christmas list, to all the people that she works for.
So she sent a message out to everybody saying, "Hey, the boat's sinking, yada yada yada, blah blah blah," and flipped over. And one of her friends who knew her quite well, who knew she wouldn't choke.
Yeah, her daughter thought it was a prank message.
She doesn't prank, she hasn't got a sense of humour, and she passed it on to the Coast Guard or the Navy or something or other. And they said, okay, then they got the
they got the message from the number of other people who took it really seriously and realised it was no practical joke.
Well, the boat had dropped off the radar and everything, and no communication. Thought, well, there could be a problem here now. Yeah. Groovy.
Yeah. Anyway, they worked it out, and eventually they make plans of rescuing these people, obviously. They send in a fleet of pilots to see the situation of where the boat moored. And they discover the boat's, the bottom part is up in the air, obviously. Yeah. Well, that part of it, anyway. Anyway, they then tell their superiors, and they make a point of sending in the Navy fleet to go out there and try to save any people that might be still alive out there.
I think the Navy SEALs were sent out to save them.
Navy
that rings a bell. Yeah.
Anyway, so let me see. We're up to. Eventually all the survivors Richard's party and Rachel's. They soon meet up in the when
they catch up.
They catch up, and eventually they do eventually get to where they need to get to meet the other. Navy SEALs, but unfortunately there's a lot of crap in the way, so they use a bit of TNT to try to blow the thingy up. But unfortunately, sadly, there's too much crap in the way.
Yeah.
They then realize that they need to set off the bomb, one of the bombs that was
blow
still...
out a hole in the other side of the boat.
Yeah.
There you go.
But there's a big problem. There's a bit of a fire. They had to cross a flaming area.
Fire pit, blah, blah, blah.
And
it's
so they have to walk across it, and of course, before they get to walking across it, let me see, what's his name? Oh yeah, Mike tells the terrorist guy that he'll be gladly help him get to see his family, because the guy doesn't believe him. He continues to mock him, thinking, "You're mocking me. I don't think I believe you," most of the time. But he says, "I promise you, I'll make sure that you get to see your family once the trial is done and you can see them, and hopefully you may arrange something." Obviously,
yeah.
Of course, we think he may have given in and finally decide to hand in the towel, but he doesn't. In fact, he decides to fight with Sea Marshal, and eventually he plummets down into a fiery grave.
He? He said he.
The terrorist.
The terrorist, exactly right.
Took his wish. He took his life. Away.
Oh dear. Never mind.
Anyway, they all make their way across the bridge they made, and the only one remaining is the doctor and the guy, the Richard's lover. Of course.
Yeah, they stop it.
Yeah, well, the doctor, he managed to get across.
That's right. He just gets what the girl.
Somehow the bridge breaks.
And she falls down.
Yeah.
And she's hanging onto it, and she lets go, and she goes into the fiery pit.
Yeah, and of course he's all sad. Of course, I remember when he said before this incident, he confessed his love to his wife and told her that. Well, I think most of the time when I like to hear these confessions, I like to think they're being sincere about it.
I think he was. He cared about the other lady.
Yes.
But that's you don't.
A one-night stand is not a love.
But it wasn't. Yeah. But he loved his wife more.
Yeah, you can see why I thought this was the first time he did well.
No, it might have been. Yeah, you're right. The way they're talking might have indicated it was the first time. Yeah.
Anyway, it was not serious when I think about it. At least both parties don't think it was a serious relationship, in my opinion. Anyway, they eventually get across, and there they find the keg bomb, obviously, and they need to find a way to blow the thingy up. So the Sea Marshal worked it out.
He was going to do it. He had it all ready to go.
Yeah, but the priest stepped in and said, "I'll do it.
You have a wife and family and stuff. I don't have anybody, so if anything happens to me, it's not a loss."
Yeah. So everyone takes cover, all except the priest, and he makes a silent prayer.
He's actually a bishop. You keep calling him a priest.
Sorry, he's a bishop. My bad. Even though it's a title only. Anyway, he blows the thing up, and it throws him off, and I kind of thought for a minute
he might be dead,
that he might be dead, but he's not. Eventually, the Navy SEALs arrive at that part, and they begin to load. As they jump into the water, they start loading them onto the lifeboats, obviously.
Quite handy, very much.
And, of course, let me see, the last ones was the Sea Marshal and the bishop.
The bishop, yeah.
And they managed to get onto the into the water and get to the life raft. And, of course, they don't row very far, but eventually the Poseidon starts heading down to its walking grave. And all the time, the boy, Dylan, is recording everything. I know what you guys are thinking. What if the camera gets wet? Well, here's my answer. He kind of wraps it in plastic.
Exactly. So he's smart little boy.
Yes.
Now, while the boat goes down, it cuts over to where the that exit, where the what do you call this? The agency that was looking after the boats. You're tracking them. There's a British agent there, and she's lamenting that the fact we only saved 9 people.
Yeah, she's a bit of a gloomer.
No, well, you're half glass half full, glass half empty sort of thing.
Yeah.
But just over 1,000 people on the boat.
Yeah, thousands. Like
Over
Titanic thousands, probably.
Well, it wasn't thousands. It was over 1,000 on the boat. But the point is, they saved 9. But it's, well, what do you do? You could have saved more if the people came, but they didn't come. Yeah.
No, they all assumed that the guy, the purser, or whatever his role was, that
he knows
that
he got a blue suit on. That doesn't
just
work.
because he's wearing these stripes on his shoulders does not mean he's an admiral.
Hey, I had little epaulets and stuff. I was just a crappy security guard at the airport when I was working. That doesn't make me anything special.
Yeah, it's the same with anyone who has a badge on themselves. It does not make them the mastermind of the universe.
No, he wasn't. No. He's a drug addict.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, not much to talk about the production. It's a telemovie.
It's just the same thing as the other two movies,
So,
where a bunch of survivors, they go throughout the boat, while the other ones, the not so lucky ones, end up drowning and dying at the same time.
Yeah. Well,
I like to think maybe some other survivors probably made it out of the boat, but I don't think so, considering that they would have not had a fighting chance at this point in time, considering it just pretty much swamped down to a watery grave.
Yeah.
But I kind of thought it was a good one, because I like the bishop, and I liked Adam Baldwin's role in this. And I like Steve
Gutenberg. You
did a
see
good
him in a
job
comedy role and stuff. Yeah. Was he in when Sally met Harry met Sally or something or other?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Whatever, yeah. That's sort of, he does romantic comedies, and you see him in serious roles. Like, well, he can do that too. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
then.
well, it's more there's a bit of teeny, there's a little humour here, but not enough to throw it off.
It's not a comedy. It's just a bit some lightheartedness, but but it's basically a drama. So yeah.
Yeah, and I do think it's kind of interesting, especially I like the fact in this one the bishop in this one, he kind of said some really encouraging words to our survivors. Okay. And I'm kind of glad he survived, and I liked the fact that none of the... Well, I do think there was some well-liked characters. Like, one of the staff of the boat was really nice. He would sound like a nice guy, and I almost wish he didn't get kicked the bucket.
He's the guy who got squashed by the thing in the kitchen. Yeah.
No, he was that guy, and the guy who got sunk, fell down the
help the old lady.
Fell down the funnel. That was it was.
Yeah, they're two nice guys.
They were nice guys.
Anyway, let's grade this one.
Let's do.
Now, I'm going to grade this a bit different because this is a telly movie. It wasn't made to be an A-grade movie going through the cinemas.
No, that's a shame.
But as a telly movie, it shapes up pretty damn good.
I think so.
It's not like watching Rose Red.
Yeah.
Rose Red was not made for a cinema complex, but for TV, Rose Red came out really fine. Supernatural horror, creepy stories.
The one thing that I'll pick on here, guys, is I didn't like the fire bridge thing because the fire looks so not realistic.
Well, they might have had to...
It's my theory that maybe they just...
Okay, you want burnt actors, do you?
No, it just felt like it didn't look real.
It looked
camera.
real enough. Okay.
But unless these studio heads thought the one that was in the original didn't seem very life-threatening.
When the bodies fell into it, it didn't look quite right. Yeah, I must admit. It was too in... It looked good, but when a body fell into it, it didn't look quite right.
Yeah, it looked like they burst into flames. Or not really burst into flames, they burst into nothing.
Yeah, no, it went through the flames, but it just didn't look right. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. But so I'm going to give it...
It might be just cheap special effects, fine.
It wasn't cheap. It was expensive special effects. Now, I'm going to give it a 9 because, honestly, telly movies are not the same as an A-grade cinema.
That's what I mean.
So
I think
I'm going to still give it a 9 then.
I think that if it's a direct TV movie, you might be looking at very cheap special effects.
That was smaller budget to play with. So, yeah. Not knowing what the budget, I'd say the smaller budget. So with the smaller budget, they did what they could with what they had, and it looked pretty damn good to me.
Yeah. So I do think it's not too bad, and I like the cast they picked for these roles.
Well, you look at it. You got Adam Baldwin, he's pretty good. Rutger Hauer's always good. Steve Gutenberg's a good actor. Brian Brown's a good actor. Blah 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 blah. And all the other support actors did a good job. Even the kid with the camera, who wasn't the precocious little brat, he was just okay. So there you go then.
Yes.
So let's give your grading.
Yeah, I'm gonna rate it now. I'm not gonna rate. Last time I rated the other one very well, not very high, obviously. But I think I'll rate this one 8 out of 10 myself.
There you go. That's not too bad. Okay. Now I don't know about reception because there's no reviews in these.
No, there isn't.
However, you want to have a go at looking at it, watching it, and whatever. Okay. For those of you who are cashed up, eBay. You just say you can get it there. That's for sale.
You can also go on YouTube if you want to see it there, because I found it on YouTube and showed it to Mike.
I was going to say that in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you want to but when you do that, you get what quality they give you, and if you try to do a download off the YouTube, you get less quality as well. So what I'm saying is, eBay it's for sale. Amazon you can rent it and get a reasonably good picture that way, and it's for sale there. Now, remember, it's the same name as the 1972 version.
Yeah.
The Poseidon Adventure.
Yeah. Also, guys, when you do watch it on YouTube, be careful if it's been deleted, because sometimes if such movies like this that were just this type of ones, they could actually be 1 minute on there and the next minute they'll be deleted.
That's why I keep giving them the eBay and the Amazon stuff. So if it's there, you should find it somewhere else.
I'll try to put a link at the bottom for you guys to actually, so Amazon, you won't miss out.
You can rent it. So there you go. So what else? Can't think of anything else. That's where you get it. I've graded it. It's a good watch. I mean, when you watch a movie like this, try not to compare it to the original. And that's where the problem is with a lot of movies. I do a remake, and someone says, "Oh, I saw the original was different." No, forget that. Do it as a standalone movie. You'll enjoy it better.
Yeah, I mean, I get that why they would think that, because in the old days they used real boats, and this one did have a lot of green or special effects for its years.
Well, they might have used some sound stage and a bit of this and a bit of that, and real water.
Because the water in it did look didn't look like like it was in the ocean. Like the water would have been darker, I think, in my opinion, because I've been to the ocean. I've been to water.
Have you been underwater in the ocean?
No, but I just meant the fact that on top of the water, it looked like it was done in a swimming pool, not a key swimming pool, but like if it was in a sound studio. They might have actually got a model of the boat and put it in a large tank, which often happens. Yes, they do that sometimes. Yeah. Yes. So anyway. Again, guys, as I said in the past, it does have some enjoyable moments and a lot of funny
fun.
Cool
stuff. It's a good fun disaster movie.
Yeah.
Fun disaster movie. Yeah. Okay.
So, guys, you know where it is, so I'll let you guys go and check it out on your own grounds.
Hey, can we stay dry for the next review?
Yes,
no,
I promise we'll try to watch something else before we head off on vacation soon. We're trying to get as much in as I said in my past podcast, guys. We are going to get as much done before our trip in April, obviously.
Yeah, so we do that a few weeks ahead.
Yes.
So we rack 'em and stack 'em.
So if I don't get to review most of your stuff that you guys send me,
do you get many people saying, "Hey, how about this? How about that"?
Yeah, I get a lot of requests here and there. I mean, that explains why I got requests for the let me see, which was it? Quite a few of close acquaintances sent me independent horror slashers films to give me food for thought, of course.
Oh yeah. That's where you get the independent crap from. Well, there you go then.
Yes.
I wonder where they're coming from.
I also request them sometimes, to keep my hand in.
Anyway, do you want to kill this or want to wrap it up?
Yes, I will. So that's it from us, guys. So that's our last Poseidon Adventure movie we'll be reviewing for now. Well, we'll find out if there's any more out there, but there is only one other one that was called Beyond Poseidon Adventure or something. And of course, we can't seem to find it, but we'll probably do it not in the near future as of yet, but I promise we'll probably review it next time, obviously, sometime. Alright, that's about it from us, guys. So I hope you guys have a good week, and I hope you guys will see us again for our next podcast review. Alright, this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
saying, see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now, and have a good week.
Hi, guys.